Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. I want to go over, like I've been the past few weeks, a portion of the email newsletter that I send out on a weekly basis to subscribers of the Inner Circle subscription service that I offer. The one part gets probably more so of the headlines, and that is the live trading room that I offer. But a part of the same exact subscription, yeah, you get the live trading room, but you also get these email newsletters that I send out, with just various setups that I see from within the market. So I want to just go over a week, and you can kind of get an example of how it all works, and just give you an insight into the community and this newsletter function of it. What we're going to focus on this week is the week of July 30th of 2018. Before we get into it though, I do want to note that from a disclosure perspective, am I trying to imply that every single setup I send out is going to be some winner? Absolutely not. That's not the case at all. But what I am trying to apply is this is exactly why risk management, risk control, risk analysis, just understanding risk as a whole is so important, because losses are going to happen. Nobody's perfect. And, as much as I wish, like I said, I could say that I send out all winners, that's just not the case. But this is why I'm always focused on teaching risk management, because when you keep losses small, as you're about to see, it only takes a few winners and you can not only wipe away the losses, but then, continue to, build green and have the overall trend go in your favor. But it's very hard to do that if you're not managing risk and all that sort of good stuff. So again, I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to imply to you that every single alert from the newsletter is going to be some huge winning pick, but they do happen, and that's why you got to manage risk, because when the winners happen, as you're about to see, just let them do their thing and they'll wipe away the losses. So again, let's check out some scans from the week of 7/30/18. Now, this first scan I want to actually talk about as either a no play or a loser. So yes, I'm doing a video and I'm going to actually show a loser, but I just want to kind of try to illustrate the point here, that I've made in past videos about, not everything's going to be a winner, but that's why I got to keep things just controlled. So here we have ticker symbol VIPS, which you can see right up there. And this was just, thrown into the technical pattern category as a falling wedge. Falling may sound like a bearish pattern, but it's actually a bullish pattern. So, and then on the flip side, a rising wedge is actually bearish, but falling wedge, bullish pattern. So you can see I have it mapped out here. So let's see how this one actually played out. Now, I always send these scans out over the weekend. So this is, what it looked like before, the Monday. So, I mean, this is kind of, this candle right there represents Friday. So let's see how this one played out. Now, the nice thing about this, in a kind of a weird way, is there was actually a gap down, and the gap down went down below the bottom portion of the trend line. So that's why I say it's a potential no play. Because if people notice, wait a second, it's gapping down below outside the pattern, well, that's not a very good start. I'm just going to avoid. So I could very logically see people saying that. But let's just say that people still decided to try to get in. You'll see how things continue to play out. And just nothing really happened, and that's where it stands right now. So perhaps people could still be in, and even if they were still in, just being assuming being disciplined, they're just facing a potential small loss. Maybe some people already cut out, and you can see nothing drastic. It just basically went down a little bit and then has since gone sideways. So maybe some people cut the loss just right now and have moved on to greener pastures. I can't speak for everybody, but the idea here is, yeah, this was technically a losing alert. It was technically maybe a no play thanks to the gap down right out the gates on Monday morning, but nothing drastic. And so we'll count this as a loser. And as you see, it's nothing huge at all in terms of the loss. It would have been very manageable. So let's move on to the next one. So this alert comes just via a pullback play as the category, and just there is an overall uptrend. However, within the uptrend, as I annotated with those channel lines, there was a pullback here. So here's a pullback within the overall trend, nice RVR. So let's see how this setup played out. Again, here is the chart going into the weekend. So the next candle you see would technically be Monday morning. So let's just go and see how it. So Monday morning, solid, plenty of opportunity. It actually pulled back a little bit, but the calculations, I'm not, basing it off of you getting in at the low or anything like that. So I'm trying to keep things on the conservative side, but very nice Tuesday. And yeah, you can see right there, finally did pull back, but overall, a relatively quick 18% on the bounce. So think about that loser we just looked at. Even if you had played this half right and you got 9%, or 6% or 7%. Yeah, those percentages aren't huge, but this is a highly liquid stock. And as I have said in past videos and will continue to say, I'd highly encourage you to go into your bank and say, excuse me, I'd like 7% in the next 7 days. And let me know, make sure to take out your phone and film the reaction to tell the bank you want 7% in the next 7 days, because that's essentially what happened right here. And 7% assumes you didn't play it too well, but I mean, you had an 18% profit window to try to pull some profits with it. So yeah, very nice play here on the pullback from OPK. The next scan was on HMNY, and assuming you're watching this video, relatively after it was published, I'm sure you've heard of HMNY. It's been in the headlines quite a bit, and it's been a pretty big train wreck. But the thing with train wrecks is, they can produce some very nice bounces, which is why I wanted to get this one updated. The reason the chart looks different is just because of how much of a train wreck it is. It really threw off the proportions of stockcharts.com. So I hopped over to eSignal, which is my chart provider, in order to do the analysis that I wanted to. So that's why all of a sudden it's black and it looks a little bit different. Like I said, the formatting on the charts was way out of whack because of just how nasty this one has been. But the overall category, I kind of created a category for it, and just simply, is HMNY headed down to 68 cents. And you'll see when we go over the actual chart, the price was actually still at $2 per share when, I'm talking about and alerting a potential move down to 68 cents. So just keep that in mind. This is, the level right there that it's coming from via the analysis that was sent out. So let's see how this one played out. One quick note here, this is actually, and I used it for the alert too on the newsletter, but we're looking at the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candles represents 30 minutes worth of time. So all the other charts we've seen, each candlestick represented an entire day. In this situation, each one only represents 30 minutes of time. So I just want to get that out of the way real quickly. But yeah, like I said, as you can see, right now, the price, at the time of the alert was, $2, slightly up above $2, and I'm talking about 68 cents. So let's just see how this all played out, and we'll go through it. But remember, 68 cents is the level, but, and this will mean more to those of you that have, subscribed to the courses and, have gone through my trainings. But 68 cents, when I say things like Grandma and Slick Willie, you'll understand why it didn't quite hit 68 cents, but it certainly got more than close enough where, again, if you understand the concepts of Grandma and Slick Willie, yeah, you would have, had a potential for an entry point, no doubt about it. And, as far as I'm concerned, when something's still up above $2 and you get within 3 cents of the bottom, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm certainly going to pat charts and technical analysis on the back. I think that's pretty impressive. So let's see how this played out. So remember, this is actually Monday, and that's just the first 30 minutes of Monday. So Monday, it just spent the entire day, essentially kind of trending downwards. So again, this is all of Monday right now, just each 30 minutes broken down. And as you see, or maybe don't see, so I'm going to point it out, right there is that 68 cent level that is now starting to creep into play. You can actually see it on the chart. So let's just keep on going. So that's still all of Monday. And then Tuesday, look at that. Went down and hit a low of 71 cents. So yes, okay, I was 3 cents off. But again, and this is just the power of knowledge, the power of actually investing into learning. And I realize this means nothing to you if you haven't taken any courses, but I know, and that's why I keep making these videos, a lot of feedback from members have said, hey, it actually helps me out. So for you members, think Slick Willie, think Grandma. And, when it went down to 71 cents, when I was talking about 68, you should be able to connect the dots. And, oh, yeah, that's still more than realistic to have gotten an entry point right there. And you can see within this 30-minute session, it went all the way up and hit $2. Now, it didn't last very long, but even the next candle still went up as high as, what was that high? $1.28. So from a 70-ish, 75-ish cent entry point, that's still quite the move. And with HMNY, yeah, it happened quick, but this is definitely one that's trading. And if you're getting into things like this, of course you're going to be watching. I don't know, I shouldn't say of course, but you should be watching it very closely. And you can see from there, it did ultimately just kind of keep on downwards, but absolutely nailed the bottom. And when I say nailed the bottom, like I said, I'm not patting myself on the back. I am patting charts. So if anybody tells you that charts are worthless, charts have no place, just understand they're ignorant. Are charts perfect? Of course not. Nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as a holy grail. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding right there. to think that I'm talking about 68 cents when the price is still up above $2, and then it nailed it within 3 cents. A nice 182% profit window. Am I saying people played it for 182%? I'm not saying that. But let's just say you played it half right. What is that? 91%? 91% in a matter of, I don't know, 30 minutes? Not too bad. Let's just take it. You played it really, really bad and you made 20%. 20% in 30 minutes. Go to your bank. Say, hey, I'd like 20% of my money, please, in the next half hour. And again, record the reaction. So HMNY, definitely a big winner. And it really goes to show that illustrate the power of charts. And then you factor in knowledge such as understanding the dynamics of Slick Willie and Grandma, and there's a very nice winner for the week. Finally, if you are interested in subscribing and getting the newsletters that I've talked about here, and then of course remember you get the live chat room, just go to claytrader.com /the inner circle, and pricing wise, $99 per year. If you do the math on that, it breaks down to $1.90 per week. I mean, so if you can't set aside, if you can't find $1.90 per week in the budget, I'm not sure what to tell you, but I mean, it's more than fair. And as I always tell people, over the time span of 12 months, I am more than confident you will get at least $99 of value, which, I'm not exactly setting the bar that high, but hey, it is what it is. It's fair. It keeps out the trolls. It keeps out the pumpers. And, by doing that, it just makes an overall great community. There is a mobile app that you can get that comes with it too. After you sign up, there's instructions on how to get that. So, I mean, it's not like you have to be at your computer. You can totally stay in touch with things, via your smartphone and via the app. So, hopefully this helped. If you do have any questions, you can email me. You can leave the comments, down below. I read all the comments. I will reply. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you decide to give us a try. Again, $1.90 per week.